Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we have an uncategorized video for you, and it's basically just backpacking essentials for photographers. A couple weeks ago I conducted a survey on our Instagram page and basically asked people to list 3 items that they consider essentials, and basically this is what we got. So we'll start at the top of the most important or the most commonly mentioned essentials, and we'll work our way down. It's up to you to decide if this is for you, but honestly for me, this is pretty much everything that I actually pack when I head out on any trip of any significance. First, number 1 is water. I've got 2 water bottles here. I have a handful of different ones that I rotate through, but generally this soft bladder 500 milliliter is the one I always have. I'll have it in my shoulder strap pocket like this, so I can quickly access the hose with my mouth. Don't have to break stride, don't have to stop. If I'm on a bigger outing, I will probably put this Nalgene inside my bag or attach it to the outside via the side tripod pouch or water bottle pockets. So with those, when this runs out of water, I'll just refill it. Next is the headlamp. I use 2 different headlamps. In the summer, I'll generally use this lower power one, and in the winter months, I will use the bigger one. The reason for that is this one's much more powerful, and in the winter, I don't wear prescriptions when I'm on the mountain. Usually I'm snowboarding if I'm doing a winter mission, so I don't like to use glasses or prescriptions because the prescription actually shrinks and widens my view, and that can be kind of troubling when you're doing action sports. Next is the Multitool. I always carry this, but I almost never use it. I don't think I've used this once in the last 2 years, but it's definitely a good thing to have in your bag, just because things break, especially if you're on the action sports side of things. Those kind of tools break a little more often. I think people who are just hiking and trekking probably aren't dealing with things breaking down quite as much, but still definitely a good tool to have for everyone. Of course, you want to bring snacks. Usually have your basic energy bars, but I will always have these 2 items. This is the gel, which I'll put in the stretch sleeve on the hip belt. I almost never eat these, but I do once in a while when I'm in a very exhausted situation. Instead of like stopping and resting and all that stuff, I'll just squirt one of these in, kind of without breaking stride, just keeping the momentum going. Pepperoni, it's my understanding that fat inside of this thing will warm you up inside. From my experience, it actually works. I definitely have eaten these in very cold places and felt a little bit of comfort after. Next is filters. The ones I generally use are for video, and in this case they're 82 millimeters. I usually use the same lens that which is a 24-70. It has 82 mil diameter. I've got a variable ND, CPL, and I've got filters for my drones. Shell, always pack a shell. This particular one is made by Teton Bros. I'll just quickly show you why I like it. When my shoulder straps are on, it's here, and then I've got this pocket here that I can access whether my bag's off or on. So whether I'm changing out a lens, whether I'm 20 feet away from my pack or my pack's on and I don't want to take it off. Maybe I've got a filter case, maybe I've got a set of gloves, headlamp, maybe I want to put it in here. It's just nice to have this pocket right here that's very easily accessible for adventure photography or just adventuring in general. Next is first aid. I have this little pouch here. We don't actually sell this product. It's something I've just been kind of playing with over the last summer and just kind of seeing where it goes. But basically, I have a bunch of items in here. Some of these I'll talk about later, but for right now, Band-Aids. I got painkillers for if I get a headache or something like that in the mountains. Earplugs if I'm sleeping. The most common thing that I actually use in here is probably both the earplugs and this stretch tape, because this will save me from blisters. And also the main reason I started making this pouch was to carry face masks. So I keep my masks in here because sometimes, you know, I gotta travel through whatever, maybe it's a train, maybe it's a lift, a gondola, a tram, you know, and I'm around a bunch of people. For the current time at least, you know, you need to have a mask on to do that. And when you head into the mountains, you're bound to get dirty. It's just nice to have your mask in a clean place for later when you put it on. Next, we got spare batteries for my Sony A7. We'll have that one. But most commonly used are these AAAs. These are the ones that I actually have to replace and just recharge. Seems like a lot of camera gear uses this, as well as a beacon, headlamps, whole bunch of things. My remotes, they're all firing off AAA, so always good to have extras of those. Of course, power bank. I do have this GoPro power bank. Luckily, Gabe Langlois of Team Shimoda slept here for a couple nights and managed to forget his, and now it's mine. Next on the list is layers. You know, we always have different layering needs depending where we're going and what time of year we are, but two items that I most commonly bring are these two items or a variation of them. This is a very thin jogging shirt, and the whole idea with this is that when I get to the top of a climb, I'm hot and sweaty, so I'll just change out of the shirt I'm wearing and then I'll put this dry one on, and that instantly gives me some body warmth. You can see it's very thin, lightweight shirt. It's a snug fit, so there's just not a lot of excess material on it. These aren't shirts you're going grocery shopping. You don't have to worry about people seeing you and wearing a shirt that's a little too form-fitting. These are going to be buried in layers, and you don't need that excess material packed in your bag or even when you're hiking. It's the same theory with this running jacket. Very thin, ultra light. It's very form-fitting when it's on the body, and it basically keeps the heat that your body's generating trapped inside, so it's not escaping and you're not wasting that warm air. Next, we got sunglasses. Back to my prescription issue with sunglasses. I'll just wear normal sunglasses because I don't want to go in and out of prescription all day and kind of have to reset my eyes. In the summer though, I will use these little flip-ups, because the flip-ups, they're really handy for photography when you're looking at your LCD, when you need that extra bit of brightness, but also if you're into like shooting the time when the weather's transitioning. A lot of times you go from bright to dark, and it's just nice to have that option. If you're already wearing glasses, it's a pain in the butt to manage two pairs of glasses when you're out there, especially if you're sleeping overnight. You gotta be really mindful of breaking your glasses. It's just nice to have these because they're just so simple. Next on the list is a GPS. I don't actually pack a GPS. Not sure why I don't. Maybe it's just something I'll pick up down the line. At this time, I just haven't found a need for it. For me right now, what's available in my phone has been enough for me. Memory cards, definitely these little things are my nemesis, especially the micro SD. I bounce from drone to GoPro to my telephone. They all take these micro SDs, but of course also normal SD cards. I'm sure we've all forgot them at some point in our days, and it's just incredibly disappointing when you get somewhere and you realize you forgot them. Of course, a lot of us are gonna want to carry a tripod. I prefer this little mini tripod. I've really fallen for it in the last 4 to 5 months. It's the Backpacker S by Me Photo. Incredibly light, under 2 kilograms. I don't even notice it on my bag. It's definitely not for shooting video. And if you're worried about your legs vibrating and you're doing really slow shutter speeds and things like that, probably not the tripod for you, but for me it's perfect and I love it. Next on the list is maps. Again, maps are in my phone generally. I do have some paper maps. Where I live, pretty familiar with the general lay of the land here. You know, very rarely are we off a trail. Maps aren't as important for me. In the winter, it's definitely something I will consider packing, but I'll usually resort to my phone. For hats, I pack the Sealy running hats. These things are great. They crumple up really small, stuff them wherever you want. When they get wet, wring them out. I've washed this one and another one I have that's same hat, different color, probably over 100 times. They're relatively new looking still. Use them for running, hiking, anything sporty that I might need a hat. Great sun protection up front, on the side, protect the back of your neck, all that kind of stuff. I think I've had this hat for 2.5 to 3 years now. Definitely an essential in my backpack. Next, gloves. These are black diamond ones. These are the ones I've been wearing in the last probably 2 months. just because of the season, which is fall. Rocks are colder, the alpine's colder. They don't really last that long, unfortunately, and I'm not even sure I find them that comfortable, but for some reason I really like them. They're good on the rocks when you're scrambling and stuff like that. Puffy Jacket, I have this one to wear under a shell, wear it on its own sometimes, but mostly this is going to be underneath my gear. I also have this one, which is designed to be worn over your shell or over your ski jacket. It's more that item for when it's really cold out that you put it on top of your gear, or you've gotten to a point where you're transitioning your gear and you need a little bit of extra warmth, but you don't want to take your jacket off and kind of expose your under layers to the cold environments. So these jackets are great. The only downfall is they take up a lot more room in your pack. So back to the kit here. I've got some lens cleaning items in here. You can see I've got a lens cloth, sensor swabs. I got a lighter. I have a pretty thin little wallet that just holds credit cards and cash. And I'll also store that in there. Of course, you want to bring your phone and make sure it's fully charged when you leave your house or the car. Another thing that made the list was water purification tabs. I really don't use them where I live, but in North America, I definitely have used these. Next, we've got the rain cover. Always good to have a backup. You never know when you're gonna need a rain cover, even if it's just to protect your bag from dirt, from say you're in a muddy area or whatever, you know, just throw it on there. It's so much easier to hose a rain cover down than to worry about getting the dirt off your backpack, especially if you're traveling from mountains and then you have to deal with more publicly populated areas, maybe a train or throwing it in your car. It's just nice to be able to pull off a rain cover, inside it out, tuck that away and put your gear back in your car. Sunscreen, I always put this in my belt on the sleeve right here. I use one of these little small bottles. They're just more handy because you can do the sunscreen on the go. You don't have to stop and make a production out of it. But also these small bottles are great because you can just pop the little top off and then refill it when you need to from a bigger bottle. So we're almost through the list. Back to the pouch. We got toilet paper. We're not going to get too detailed on that, but definitely always good to have toilet paper protected in a safe spot in your bag, just in case. And the last and one of the most important things is a can-do attitude. And I hadn't really thought about it before. I thought that was a great suggestion by one of our viewers. It's just such an important thing to have when you head out in the mountains. Of course, you don't want to be too cocky, you don't want to be under cocky, you just need to have an attitude that you are able to get things done. Important to have that confidence. And on that note, I just want to say thanks if you made it to the end of this list. I'm going to put everything down below and hopefully it helps you. We'll see you next time. If it's in between December 1st and the end of December 2020, we have 40% off on select Explore Series backpacks. Go to our website, shimodadesigns.com/deals. This is a US only sale. So if you are in the US and you're looking for a pack, head on over there.